Well, good morning. It is 10 o'clock and we are scheduled for our Wellness Wednesday at 10. And I would like to welcome everyone. Today, our discussion is going to be on eating healthy with diabetes. And I think I'm going to make this a two-part because I don't want to give too much information and cause confusion. So there will be a part two to this. I do also want to start off with the information that's being shared with you all is general information and it should not take the place of you visiting your doctor or your nutritionist or dietitian. And you always want to follow the information that they provide you. The information that I'm providing is in general. So we're going to first start off talking about the foods that we eat, the three types of foods that we eat. There are three main groups, and those three major nutrients are carbohydrates, fats, and protein. Carbohydrates are foods such as starches, fruit, milk, sweets, and even starchy vegetables. Those are considered carbohydrates. A lot of times people think that, vegetables are good for you, and we are saying that vegetables are good for you, but there are some starchy vegetables that you have to be careful when you're eating them. Sometimes you may hear individuals refer to carbohydrates as carbs. Those are synonymous terms. They mean the same thing. So carbs and carbohydrates are the same. People with diabetes, they have to learn how much carbohydrates to eat, when to eat them to keep their blood sugar within healthy recommended ranges. And to keep those in healthy recommended ranges is important because you don't want to cause complications or it feels sluggish because you really haven't eaten enough. Also, you can eat too many and you start feeling bad also. So remember that. We're going to go into more detail. When you look at proteins, these are foods that we typically get from animals. So you get chicken, your beef, your pork, and your fish. But some proteins are also plant-based, such as your beans, your peas, and your lentils and nuts. And it's important to just a little note that your beans and peas and lentils, they can also have carbohydrates. They do have carbohydrates, meaning that when you eat those, they can cause your blood sugar to go up. Your fats are found in your oils, your nuts, your olives, your margarine, salad dressings, and butter. So when we look at this page right here, these are the three major nutrients that we eat. The ones that we have to be most concerned about are carbohydrates. Now, proteins, they do not cause your blood sugar to go up, but you know that if you eat too many proteins, that it can cause weight gain, which can lead to other health conditions. So I just talked about proteins and fats. We know that proteins come from animals, your birds, your beef, chicken, poultry, things like that. And we're going to look at more of this later. Your fats, I just went over, they're in your salad dressing, your mayonnaise, your peanut butter, things like that. And avocado is considered a fat. It's a good fat. So remember, your proteins and fats typically don't impact your blood sugar, but they can cause weight gain. But your beans, your peas, and your lentils, they are classified in both your protein and carbohydrates. If I'm causing confusion at any time, just kind of raise your hand or give me a little Susan will watch the chat for me to clear it. I love this diagram right here because I've had people say, well, I'm diabetic now. I can't eat carbohydrates. Your body needs carbohydrates because it's the energy source. So this diagram shows you that this is a good diagram. It shows how your body works with carbohydrates. So you eat foods that provide your body with carbohydrates, and then that food goes into your blood and it becomes blood glucose, and glucose is another name for sugar, and then it is released out as energy. It's your energy source. One thing that you just want to remember is with diabetes, the blood glucose does not exit. It does not release at the time that you needed to. So that's why people have to take medication, and exercise is so important for individuals with diabetes. So consistently having, if you eat too many carbs, and like I said, it's not released when your body needs it to release it, so it remains there. Consistently having too many carbohydrates in your system can lead to heart damage, kidney damage, even your eyes and your feet. So those are major things that you want to be concerned about. And it's important that you eat the right amount of carbohydrates. Some carbohydrate foods raise your blood glucose more than others, and those are considered to be high carb foods. And then you have carbohydrates that you eat that don't cause your blood sugar to go up, and those are low carb foods or vegetables. So we're going to go more into that. It's just important that you remember carbohydrates are good for you. You just have to know how to eat them and when to eat them. And I love, love, love teaching this because it just helps individuals to kind of understand what they're doing. And, you know, diabetes is not a death sentence. It's just a lifestyle change. You have to know how to eat. I was having a conversation with a family friend. It may have been a couple of days ago. And I asked him, so has your doctor or your dietitian shared with you how many carbs that you should eat a day? And he told me 45. And I was like, that cannot be true. That cannot be true. And so he went back through his notes, and it was 45 grams per meal. So that made sense to me. So we're going to talk about that a little later as well. So when we talk about high carbohydrate foods, these are foods that you eat that will cause your blood sugar to go up. And these are grains, they're breads, they're cereals, pasta, rice. These are the foods that you have to really be careful with when you eat them. You have to eat them in the right amount so that it does not cause your blood sugar to go up. And we have fruit. Fruit have natural sugar. So these are high carb foods also. And we're going to look at how to eat these as well. I just want you to know that, you know, everybody says eat fruits and vegetables. Yes, you have to eat fruits and vegetables, but keep in mind that fruit have natural sugar, and that natural sugar can cause your blood sugar to go up. Now, vegetables. These are the starchy vegetables that you really have to be concerned about when you're diabetic. And I know if you're like me, sometimes you do like to mix that potato and corn together. Yum, yum. But a person with diabetes, they really have to monitor how they eat these three vegetables. And these are peas, corn, and potatoes. And I'm going to show you like a meal pattern on how to eat these. But remember these: peas, corn, and potatoes. Now we're looking at milk and milk products. Milk has lactose, and lactose is a form of sugar. So drinking milk can cause your blood sugar to go up. Yogurt, foods like that can cause your blood sugar to go up because they contain milk. Lactose is a sugar product. And we all know that our sweets are going to cause our blood sugar to go up. And, you know, right now during the pandemic, you know, I'm drinking my little coffee right now. So you have your coffee. I didn't have a donut, thank goodness, and your cookies and your pies. Remember, these foods, everybody likes sweets, but you just got to know how to eat them, and we're going to talk about that. Now, these vegetables are non-starchy vegetables. So these are low carbohydrate foods. The vegetables that we talked about previously, they were high carb foods. These are the low carb vegetables. So they're not going to cause your blood sugar to go up as much as those high carb vegetables. And we're going to talk about how much you can eat before it actually causes your blood sugar to go up. So now we're going to do a little test just to engage you all. So I have a soda. This is a regular soda. I can see some people, I can't see everyone. But do you think this is a high carb food or low carb food? This is a regular soda. You
High.
can talk. High carb. Okay, great job. So now we have French fries.
High.
Yes, remember French fries are made from potatoes. And this is a small order from McDonald's. But when you start looking at your carb intake, this would count as two carbs. So if you just think about it, if you go to McDonald's and I'm not promoting McDonald's in any way, but if you go to McDonald's and you get just a little burger, a little cheeseburger, and you get fries, and we're going to get water today. If you just think about that, so you have your top bun, you have your bottom bun, and then I'm telling you that this fry is also two. So this will be four carb servings in just one meal. And for an average person, this for a woman, this would be over the amount that she needs for a meal, and for men, it would be okay. And it would depend on your activity level. We're going to look at that plate method shortly, but I just want to kind of bring your attention to being able to count those. Now we have a salad with some cucumbers, some tomatoes, and some lettuce. Do you
Low.
think low? Okay, great job. I think some of you attended my class before. Oh, okay. So now we have orange juice.
High.
Yes, and do you know why it's high?
Because of the sugar contents that's in it.
Yes. So remember, fruit have natural sugar, and that is going to cause your blood sugar to go up. So, and if you want, it's best if you're gonna, if you're wanting some orange juice or something like that, it's best that you eat the real fruit. Get the orange, peel the orange, and eat it. If you
No.
want some orange juice, I would just say dilute it with water, like have half juice and half water. Okay?
Are all fruit high carb?
Yes. Some a little bit better. And I have a book that I wanted to share. This is an excellent book. It's called Choose Your Foods. And I will share it with Susan to place in the chat later. But this is an excellent guide to just show you how to eat with diabetes. But yes, fruit have a natural sugar, and you just have to know how to eat it. But it's always recommended, to eat the real fruit, like an apple. Instead of drinking apple juice, eat the apple, eat the outside so that you get the fiber content. So we said high carb. What about the donut?
High.
Yes, I just had to throw that one in there. Okay, and rice.
High.
Yes.
It's high unless it's brown.
No, ma'am. That's a tricky question. It doesn't matter if it's white rice, brown rice, Mexican rice, fried rice. It is still a high carb food.
But the brown is better for you, right?
Yes, the brown does provide your body with fiber, but this is still a high carb food. And I don't know if you have your fist, just your average fist. Your average fist represents a cup. And so 1/3 of a cup of rice, any type of rice, is one carb serving. So if you decide, oh, that 1/3 cup is not going to make it for me, I need a whole cup, then that would be 3 carb servings in your meal. So if you think about what do you typically eat with rice? If you eat beans and rice, then if you have a whole cup, that's 3 carbs in your cup of rice. And then also remember that your beans are going to also are high carb food, so they're going to count as high carb and cause your blood sugar to increase. So just knowing and understanding how to eat, it really helps you. What about the milk? High or low?
High lactose?
Yes, yes, yes. Milk has lactose, and that is going to cause your blood sugar to go up. So if you have for breakfast, I'm just throwing it out, if you have an 8-ounce glass of milk, that's 1 carb. You have a piece of toast, that's 1 carb. And you have like a half a cup of cereal, then that would be 3 carbs in that one meal.
What I'm finding, because I drink the lactose free,
Okay, so you,
but then they have sugar. When I'm reading the ingredients with them, some of them, the sugar contents is still, you know, to me, it's still kind of high because I try not to go over 9 with
so
my
I wasn't gonna talk about that in this class. I was gonna save that for part 2. But instead of looking at the sugar content on that label, the nutrition facts label, I want you to look at the carbohydrates, the carbohydrate grams. And on this slide, we have 15 carbohydrate grams equals 1 carb serving. So the next time that you go to look at that label, look at how many the total carbohydrates. If it says 30, then you divide that by 2. No, I'm sorry. If it says 30, you divide that by 15. So we know that 15 will go into 30, 15 will go into 32 times. So that's two carb servings.
Okay.
And I'm going to go into that more next time. But I just want to, when you look at your food nutrition facts label, go to the total carbohydrates.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So right here, I have a little chart. And when I go to teach classes, I love helping individuals understand it. So women typically are allowed 13 carb servings a day, and men are allowed 14 carb servings. This is general information. If your dietitian or nutritionist has told you differently, you go with what they tell you. But this helps individuals who have not seen someone and just need a kind of understanding to just better be able to manage their blood sugar. So I'm just going to go with the woman for now. So if a woman is given 13 carb servings a day, she should break those out throughout the day, break those down. So for breakfast, she could have 3. For lunch, she can have 3. For dinner, she can have 3. So we have 3, 6, 9. And then she could have a morning snack, 10, 11, and an afternoon snack, 12, 13. And eating this way, this is like a meal pattern. It helps you just to keep your blood sugar balanced, and you know, you're not having those spikes and lows or spikes and lows. You're keeping it steady. And one other thing is, you can't say, well, I'm not going to eat my breakfast. I'm just going to save my 3 carb servings for lunch so that I can eat 6. Because when you do that, your blood sugar goes down, and then you go and eat that 6 and it spikes. So it's important that individuals living with diabetes, that they eat steadily. They eat like on a pattern, a meal pattern, so that their blood sugar remains constant. So please don't skip meals. Please don't skip meals. Now for men, you are given 14. And if you notice, I did not change it. So a man, you can insert 1 anywhere you like. So breakfast, lunch, dinner. Maybe for breakfast, you want to go ahead and have 4 carb servings, or lunch, you want to have 4. So men, you can have extra 1 and extra 1. And I'll give you all some time so that you can kind of share this or write it down, and Susan will also provide it. But it's just important that you understand the importance of not skipping meals. And if you want to do a little tester on yourself, after you finish eating breakfast, so if you start eating breakfast at 7:30, at 9:30, test your blood sugar to see if you ate too many. If your blood sugar is over 180, that means you had too many carbs. And it's important. Don't wait 2 hours after you finish eating. You wanna test your blood sugar 2 hours after your first bite. A lot of people make the mistake and test 2 hours after they finish eating. Well, you know, that's not accurate. Some people it takes 30 minutes to eat. Some people it takes 15 minutes to eat. So you always want to test 2 hours after your first bite. Okay, I'm going to go. Are there any questions about this slide? Okay, I have a question. So has anyone ever been told how many carbs they should have?
I have a question. And
Okay.
I raised my hand. Can you not
Oh,
see
I'm
it when you raise your hand?
Okay, I can see it now.
I had raised my hand a while back.
Oh,
I don't know if you can see it or not. I'm just now becoming serious about the diabetes I've had for over 20 years. And I do not understand like the meal plan. So if you're saying the carbs, I don't know what's a carb and what's not, but I get up and I say, well, I want some cereal this morning. I'm just understanding you're saying the cereal and the milk, all that is part of the carbohydrates, which is high. My numbers are coming out pretty good, but they've now put me on a second insulin. So I'm testing almost like every hour, hour and a half. And my numbers are very, very good. They're perfect. And I'm thankful for that. But I still don't have an understanding of what to eat. Or should I take the 5 units of insulin to facilitate so that I don't become too high? Like this morning, I haven't ate. It's 10 o'clock. Well, I might want a piece of sausage and a piece of bread. I don't know if that constitutes, should you do 5 units of insulin? I don't know if
that's where you have to speak to your nutritionist. I can tell you how to eat, but I don't know how your medication is going to interact. But I know, have you had a conversation with the nutritionist?
Yes, ma'am.
Recently?
Yeah.
Did they tell you how much to eat?
No, they have not told me how to eat or even how to figure out how much. I'm thinking they want me to do 5 units every time I eat a meal. Every time I eat a meal, not a snack. But I don't know. Sometimes I don't feel like a whole meal. My meal may be a sandwich, some chips, and a drink. Okay, I think that's a meal.
Stop right there. Stop right there. And I hope everyone has time for this. So if you say your meal is a sandwich,
chicken salad sandwich, some potato chips.
Oh, wow.
And some sparkling water, which is like 0 calories, 0 sugar. It's called iced sparkling water.
Okay, so your sandwich, do you eat it on bread?
Yes, ma'am.
You have 2 pieces of bread?
Usually it's just one open sandwich.
Okay, so that's one. We know that's 1 carb. The potato chips, are you buying the little bags or you have like a big bag?
A little bag, and sometimes I eat half the bag, sometimes I eat the whole bag.
Okay. Do you have a bag right here by you now?
No, I'm just talking about the little individual bag. No, I don't.
Okay, so what I want you to do, if you can write this down, when you have your little bag of chips, on that nutrition facts label on the back, I want you to go to the total carbohydrates. And it's going to say 36 grams, 45 grams, 20 some grams. I want you to divide 15 into that number. And that's going to tell you how many carb servings you're getting there. So we know you got 1 with the bread. What we don't know is how many you got with the potato chips. And there could be some in that. Did you make the chicken salad?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you put in, did you use some relish or something like that? Yeah. So do the same thing.
Sweet relish.
Sweet relish. Okay. So that's what I want you to do the same thing with that relish. Look on the back of that label, go to total carbohydrates, and figure out how many carb servings you got there. It's probably small because you made up a batch, but it's just, you got to know, where your carbs are coming from. And we talked about earlier, have you been on since the beginning?
No, ma'am, I came on a little late. I had problems with the link.
Okay, so at the end, I'll circle back and I'll go back through the beginning with you so that you can understand what are carbs, the high carbs and low carbs. So I'll keep going.
I think I'm too stupid to understand the carbs and stuff.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
No, I just want somebody to help me figure out how to do a meal plan. But okay,
we're getting to that. We're gonna get to that.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Don't feel stupid. Do not feel stupid. No, ma'am.
Thank you.
And the only way that you're gonna get answers is to ask questions.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. So everyone has this one: breakfast, lunch, dinner, typically 3 carb servings during your meals. And then you can have your snacks, okay? So this is, this is our diabetes. I teach a wisdom, power, and control. It's like a diabetes 6-week or sometimes 4-week class. And, we just talked about breakfast, lunch, and dinner and snacks. So this is a meal pattern, but on here we don't have any protein. We only have carbs. So if you think about it, when you go to eat your meal, these are just examples of 3 things that you could eat. So if you had, these are all single servings, keep that in mind. So if you double up, then you need to double up, you have 2 carbs. So if you have 1 cup of milk, and I do want to stress that it doesn't matter if it's 2% milk, 3% whole milk, skim milk, it still has lactose. So you still have to account for that. So we have 1 cup of skim milk, and then I'll say let's have 3/4 cup of unsweetened, ready to eat cereal. So I'm having cereal and milk, and then I may want to have a 1/2 cup of fruit juice. So if I have my cereal, my 3/4 cup of cereal, that's 1 carb. If I have my cup of milk to put in my cereal, that's 1 carb. And then I think I want to have a 1/2 cup of orange juice. That's 1. So with my selection, I have eaten my 3 carbs per meal. Do you all see that? So if I said, well, I think I want a whole cup of orange juice, then I have gone over. I'm now at 4. And for women, you see, a woman gets 3. And let's move over to a snack. So I'm going to have 3 cups of popcorn, and I want to have a 1/2 cup of, let's see, a 1/2 cup of apple juice. But I prefer the apple. I would prefer to eat the apple, but for this activity, I'll just do this one here. So your 3 cups of popcorn would be your 1 carb, and then a 1/2 cup of juice would be another carb. Now, be careful with bananas. Bananas are, you get big bananas. So if it's a small banana, it's okay. But if it's a large banana, you're going to get 2 carbs. Remember that. Be careful with bananas. And then for lunch, these are some examples. You remember I told you about the rice? So if you say, oh, 1/3 a cup of rice is just not going to do it for me, that's okay. But you got to remember, if you get a whole cup of rice, that's all of your 3 carbs in that 1 meal. So you cannot have, you can't add, like sometimes you want rice and then a dinner roll. That's adding carbs. So these are just some examples of single serving carbs. These are just some examples. Are there any questions about this?
For bananas, I've been told to just eat like a half.
Yes. And this is a small banana, and I just stated that. Make sure that for a small banana, I would still break it in half. Any banana size, I would still break it in half, just to be careful. And the riper the banana, the sweeter it is. So be careful with bananas.
Where can we find more diet outlines like this one you've provided?
Well, this book, Choose Your Foods, a food list for diabetes, you can try to get this one from the American Diabetes Association. That they also have great resources. And we're going to talk, I'm going to continue so that we can I'm already at 30 minutes. So I'm going to keep going. If we have questions, we can always come back. And Susan, she's going to email this to you all as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So now, if I was in my class, I would bring a paper plate for everybody. And we would talk about how your plate should look when you eat. So when you have, we're going to talk about the diabetes healthy plate method now. So in your plate, you would divide it into, you would draw a line down the middle. And if you have a plate, you know, sometimes we have paper plates at home, you draw a line down the middle to half it. And then you would split that half into a half. So these are the 3 parts of a healthy plate. First, you're going to find what are your high carb foods? And your high carb foods will go in that bottom section. Anybody want to, we talked about high carb foods earlier. These are your pastas, your rice, your grains. And we also talked about your beans. Your beans are going to go there, your dinner rolls, your bread. And also what else? Your fruit. Your fruit go in this section. And then we're going to talk about your low carb foods. These are foods and vegetables that are not going to cause your blood sugar to go up. So you get to eat a whole bunch of those. Look how much you get to eat, that whole side. So it's good to fill your plate up on that whole side. And then you're going to have your protein, your chicken, your pork chops, your fish. And remember your beans, they count as protein, but they also are high carbs. So now we're going to go into, here's your plate. So remember your protein should be the palm of your hand and the thickness of your pinky finger. This represents about a 3-ounce serving, 3-ounce serving. So we talked about how many high carb foods you should have per meal. Who knows what goes down in that bottom section? What number?
3.
Yes, thank you. 3. So this one here, carbs are foods that make your blood glucose rise. When you go sit down to eat, you can have 3. It's going to make sense in a minute. Now you can eat the non-starchy vegetables, your salads, peppers, okra, cucumbers. You can eat all of that you want over here. So this is how your plate should look. So now we're going to practice. We're going to do a little practice. So what goes in number 1? This is our protein. What goes in number 1?
Pork chop.
Yes, that's our pork chop. Now, on our side, we have some mashed potatoes. We have a little cornbread muffin, and we have salad. What goes in our high carb foods? Our high carb section, number 2.
Mashed potatoes
Potatoes
And cornbread.
and the cornbread.
Yes. And what goes in number 3? Our low carb section,
The salad.
salad.
salad. So we're going to say that the drink at the top is unsweetened tea. So we shouldn't have any carbs there. There's no sugar. So what if we say that you can have 3 carbs per meal? How many carbs do we have?
6.
2.
2. We have 2. We have some mashed potatoes, a small serving of mashed potatoes, and we have a little cornbread. Remember, you get 3 per meal.
Mm-hmm.
So you could add another carb to this one, a small serving or whatever. So this would help. This would be good. This would be a healthy meal. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now we have. I think that's a piece of.
What if you had it without the salad? You're gonna cause issues with your sugars?
No, no.
What if you had the pork chop, the mash, and the cornbread without a salad? Would you have an issue with sugar?
No, ma'am. Remember the ones in number 2. These are the ones that cause your blood sugar to go up.
I got you.
So number 3, if you ate about 2.5 to 3 cups of salad. I know.
No. My question is, what if I only ate number 1 and number 2?
That would be okay. But I would ask that you incorporate a vegetable so that you're not tempted to eat more of what's in number 2.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love it. I remember you in one of my classes.
Still having problems.
It's okay. But remember, and that's something good to point out. if you have a balanced meal, then you won't be tempted to go back and get more potatoes and more cornbread. It's like when my son was a little boy and he would only eat meat and potatoes and wouldn't eat vegetables. And the doctor said, well, don't give him more until he eats those green vegetables. So, you have to play mind tricks on yourself.
Yeah.
So now we have, I think it's a piece of chicken. We have some corn. We have another salad. What goes in number 1?
Chicken.
Chicken. What goes in number 2?
Corn.
And number 3.
Salad.
So how many carbs do we have here?
I guess 1.
1.
Yes. And how many should you have per meal?
3.
3.
And you could add 2 more. What would you add?
Probably
Slice
some rice.
You add some rice? Okay, so I'm glad you said that.
Right there.
That's starch.
So if you added rice, how much rice would you add?
I'm only getting better because I've been hospitalized, so it would probably be like a little half a cup of rice.
So a half a cup. If you're gonna add a half a cup, I would just be mindful and say, okay, remember a third of a cup is 1 carb serving. So if you're gonna add a half a cup, that's closer to 2 servings. So if you had your chicken, your rice, your half a cup of rice, and your corn, you would be at your 3.
Okay, and what about some gravy?
What is gravy made
Did I
from?
go too far? Did I go too far with my carbs?
No, you're being real, and I can appreciate that. So if you're gonna have your gravy probably is made from what? Flour. So you got to consider that. So maybe you cut back.
Is it different if it's a natural gravy?
It's naturally from flour.
No. Natural gravy off the chicken would be just natural gravy off the chicken. That wouldn't be as much, huh?
How do you thicken it?
I know because you're gonna have a broth.
Yeah, it's like a broth. Like when you get it from Luby's, it's not a flour. It's just some natural gravy off the chicken.
That's
Just
fine.
like broth.
That's fine.
That's better.
Yes, but you're still getting a lot of fat. You're getting some extra fat there, which does not cause your blood sugar to go up, but it can cause you to gain weight and things like that. But I appreciate you for being real. So if you just remember 3 carbs per meal. Now, if you wanted a drink, you have to consider your drinks here. Your drinks impact your blood sugar as well, because if you have a lemonade or something like that, then that will account for your cause your blood sugar to go up because of the sugar in it. Okay, so this was like it's the summertime. People like to cook out, so we put this little one here. So we have a hamburger patty, a salad, we have some pork, like some baked beans, we have a bun, and she even threw in a piece of pie. So let's look at this. Yeah, you got pie this time. So what goes in number 1?
Hamburger patty.
Hamburger patty.
Hamburger patty.
And what goes in number 2?
The beans.
The baked beans
And the bread.
And the pie.
And the roll.
And the bread.
And number 3.
the pie too.
So, hi, Miss Dolores. So I want you to let's count the carbs here.
9. We got 2,
4.
we got 4,
We
5.
we know that we have the top bun and the bottom bun. That's
2.
definitely 2. The beans, depending on that size, I would say it's like, I'll just be nice and say it's 1. So we know we have,
gotta be 2.
ma'am?
The pie has to be 2.
Yes. And then you got that lemonade up there. It's probably,
I forgot about that.
mm-hmm. So we got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Somebody did say 6. So when you eat this meal at your family cookout, what's gonna happen to you?
Sugar's gonna escalate.
Your
Yeah.
sugar's gonna go up, and you're gonna get probably sleepy, real sleepy. Like you're gonna sit down, and before you know it, you're gonna be nodding off. So this you did. How could you change it? Like, what could you do?
Take the pie and get the first
Take the
snack.
bread away.
Take one piece of bread away. Yes, that will give us down to 5.
Maybe
Uh,
that slice of pie.
Half the pie, because you know you will still eat that pie. So go half.
I said, take half the pie.
Yes, if you take half the pie away, we're down to 4. And maybe you could just drink water
Water
instead of the lemon juice.
Instead of lemonade.
Yes. So now you're down to 3.
I would take the beans away.
You take the beans away? Okay. But now you have a better idea of, when you go to sit down and eat, how your plate should look. It helps when you have a visual and you just kind of understand how to eat. So the person who would not eat the beans, what would you eat instead? Would you just eat the meat, the sandwich?
The entire bun, yeah.
You would eat the bun, top and bottom bun?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, would you put some lettuce or tomatoes on it?
I'd put lettuce and tomatoes, onions, pickles, and a little mayo.
Okay, so you wouldn't need chips or anything?
No.
Oh, good. You're good.
But I don't really care for the beans.
Okay. and that's fine. I just want to show you all, how to eat using the healthy plate method.
Uh-huh.
So remember, I'm just going to go over a little few points.
Miss Sonia,
Yes, ma'am.
I had a very hard time giving up soda. But since I've been hospitalized, that's the police behind you with the red lights on. So my understanding is trying to get better. Somebody on here, Miss Georgia turned me on to this drink called Ice Sparkling Water. So it's just like you're drinking water, but it's flavorful. The water, I have not drank soda now in about 6 weeks, which is a miracle, a modern day miracle for me. But I may want to pass that on and share that with people who don't like drinking water. And it's sold at Walmart. You see it at Kroger, but it's called Ice, I-C-E, Sparkling Water. And it's all the different flavors, but it is awesome. And
do you think that you could have made that water?
Nope.
Can you make that water at home?
Oh, I don't know about all that. I'm not an overachiever. I'm not no overachiever. I'm only going to do it with the bare necessity. But since, like I said, I was hospitalized, I am changing some of my understanding. It's always been bad, but it is getting an understanding. Yes. And that sparkling water, it's carbonated also, but it's surprisingly is very good. It's a million flavors, and it's like somebody's asking about Crystal Light. I'm assuming it's just like a drink aid, but it helped me who did not want to drink water. I always have 4 cases of water in the garage, and I never bother the water. So now I am even drinking the water, but I'm drinking water, and I even have to do a food diary every day.
And make sure that you're including that drink in your food diary. So
I do. I have to.
You're a nutritionist.
I have to take my sugars. I'm telling you, like almost every hour and a half, because the food police, the friends of mine who are food police, they are watching it. I still slip, but I don't slip and just stay in my mess up. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting a lot better because my numbers are looking a lot better.
That's good. That's good. I'm proud of you, and you have to do what works for you. And if you ever run out of the water, you can always make you some infused water at home. It's like the summertime now, go buy you some cucumbers and slice them up.
I love that, but I'm too lazy. Can you believe it? I love it with mint. I love it with oranges. I'm too lazy. I'll go to a restaurant and say, I want mint in it. I want cucumbers, and will not do it at home to save my life. I should have been rich. Mama said I should have been born rich because I just will not do it.
Well, you're making changes, so maybe you get back there.
I'm baby steps right now, but I am making changes. Yes, ma'am, for sure.
So I'm going to go back over these carbs with you all, but I do want to let you know that just some takeaways. How many carbs? What is the recommended amount of carbs for a woman each day?
13.
And for a man?
14.
Yes. And each meal?
3.
3. Yes.
3.
Yes. So eat the amount of carbohydrates, you know, that you need each day. And don't skip meals. That's important. Do not skip meals and say, well, I'm not going to eat breakfast. I'm going to save that 3 for lunch. Do not do that. If you check your blood glucose 2 hours after your first bite. And when you check it at that time, it will let you know that you ate too many carbs or you didn't eat enough. So remember that. And remember, just try to eat as healthy as possible. A half a cup of cooked vegetables or vegetable juice can count as 1 carb. And remember that rice, you know, we're in Texas and Louisiana, we're in the South, so we love rice. We grew up on rice, but rice probably, you know, we just have to know how to eat rice.
I got off the rice, but then I got into a heavier kick.
Ma'am?
Myself balancing it by just doing like the potatoes and the pastas and mixing it that way. But then you still have to be careful with that as well. So
yes, because remember,
but I was, like you said, we were raised on rice, and I just vowed that I'd get off the rice, and I started substituting between the potatoes and the pasta. But I also realized that it's just as bad if you get hooked up on that. So
because those are foods that are going to cause your blood sugar to go up. And remember, 1/3, like I said, 1/3 cup of rice, 1/3 cup of pasta. So if you're eating spaghetti, then who really eats 1/3 cup of pasta? Who really eats 1/3 cup of the spaghetti noodles? So if you're going to have more, then that extra has to count. You have to count that as your, you know, your servings. So some ways that you can do this a little different. Instead of using the pasta noodles, people are now using the zucchini.
cauliflower.
Yeah, they're using cauliflower in place of rice, and they're using zucchini. You can buy those spirals, and they look just like noodles. They taste like noodles, but they will not cause your blood sugar to go up. So those are a few little notes. So next week we are going to have the attorney on. Her name is Jeannie Roberts, and she's going to discuss how to make a will, how to, you know, you all requested it, and it's great information. She's an excellent presenter, but there's going to be a time change. So she will be in court, so she's not available until 2 o'clock. So next Wednesday, our Wellness Wednesday will be at 2 o'clock instead of the 10 o'clock.
Thank you. Do you have another minute,
Ma'am?
Sonia?
Yes.
Okay. 2 questions. If you test your blood, if you check your blood sugar 2 hours after you eat, it should be what, under 120?
Who knows the answer? Before I give the answer, who knows the answer?
I say under 200. I say under 200.
So
First thing in the morning? Oh, Lord.
So
under 180?
Yes, that's the correct answer. That's the correct answer. 180.
Under 180?
180. So when you
That's
test
kinda
2 hours after your first bite, your blood sugar should be 180 or less.
Okay, but if I tested before, it should be under 120, right?
130.
130. Okay.
A fasting is 130.
Okay, the other question I have is, suppose you made a good gumbo.
Yeah.
And suppose I just put 1/3 of the rice in there. How in the world would I count my calories, my carbohydrates?
Yes, and you have to be careful. That's those combination meals. So if you just have to look at each ingredient. So you have
Chicken.
a lot of protein. It's mostly protein in there, unless you have. What else do you have in your
The
gumbo?
roux is made of flour.
So remember
sausage.
chicken and sausage. Those are proteins, so they're not going to cause your blood sugar to go up.
The roux from the gumbo is made with flour.
Yes, it is, but it's not a lot of flour if you're making a big pot, right?
Yeah,
So
big pot.
Yeah, if you're making a big pot of gumbo, how much flour do you use?
Well, actually, I use a pre-made base
Okay.
from Louisiana, so it's like, oh, I have that package.
So I want you to do what I told the other lady to do. Look on that label and look for total carbohydrates.
Okay. On
the back of it, the
okay,
food
yeah. Oh, it says 7G.
7 grams, but how many servings are in there?
13.
13. Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, I know you use flour, but I wouldn't be concerned about the flour. So you have chicken, sausage. Sometimes people put shrimp.
Yeah, I put shrimp. I put dried shrimp, regular shrimp.
So
Okra.
remember, okay, so remember that those meats, those are proteins. They're not going to cause your blood sugar to go up.
Okay, great.
Did we talk about the okra? Do you all think the okra is
okra was low?
Right.
I heard you when you said that.
So the okra is good.
So what about cabbage? Cabbage is low too, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay, well, I feel better now.
That's a good question. So just break all of your ingredients down. When you're making casserole dishes and, what is it? Broccoli cheese casserole, you just break down each ingredient.
Okay.
That's a good question. Good question.
Super. All right, well, I feel better. I'll go have another bowl.
Remember, each meal you can have three carb choices. So if you decide to get a whole cup of rice, that's your 3 right there.
I'm not gonna get a whole cup of rice.
Okay. So I need to make an announcement. So Susan is going to email everyone that document that that had the
food,
the carb schedule of food.
Yes. So she's going to send you this one.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And she will send you this one. But I mean, everything is on there on the other one.
Okay.
So remember, so next week we're going to do Zoom at 2 o'clock, and the attorney she will present. Now,
is the attorney from your office, not Harris County, right?
No, she's not from my office. She's a really good friend.
What office though? Not Harris County?
No, she's an attorney.
But I said she's not from Harris County, county attorney's office.
No.
Perfect. Because we had one and that lady wasn't worth a lick. So that's what I was wondering.
No, this lady is really
Miss K.
She's great.
All right, Miss Ruby. I ain't know you was on here. Okay. I ain't know you was on here, Miss Ruby. Okay, I'll get it together.
Okay, so in August, we're going to have to move to a different platform. We're going to have to, are you all familiar with Teams?
No. Real quick though, Sonia, one of the ladies asked a question. She said she only tests her sugar once a day. Answer that for her, please.
I can answer it. She gonna be in the hospital like me, because that used to be my habit. She gonna be in the hospital like me, and soon enough. Tell her just keep on. She will be in the ICU.
No, but I know people who eat right and they exercise. They know their body. So if you feel like if you've had diabetes 10, 15 years and you know your body, then it's not, you don't have to test 3 after each meal and all of that. It's when they're trying to get you back on track that you have to test so regularly. Some people, they know their body. When they eating too many carbs, I had a gentleman say that he would get a burning in the top of his head. Some people, when you sit down and you just you fall asleep. So those are signs. Like, you got to get to know your body, and your body, you know that drinking that soda was not good for you, Miss K. So your body was telling you. You don't want the complications. You don't want your heart, your kidneys, your eyesight, and your feet. Some people, when they eat too much, they get their legs start burning or their feet start tingling. So listen to the signs of your body. It's going to let you know. So when you know your body, you do right. And, you don't have to test as often. And I didn't stress. We eat, but you got to exercise. You got to start moving, especially if you know that you just ate too many carbs in one setting. Do not sit. You start walking. You walk to the corner store, you walk to the corner, you walk to the mailbox, you move. You need to move for 15 to 30 minutes. Do not sit. Do not sit. Okay, so I just wanted to let you all know that little piece of information about August. We're going to start moving to teams. And if you like, next week since that's Susan, I hope you're on. Next week at 10, we will set up like a practice team session just to see if everybody can link on. But remember, our class next week will be in Zoom.
Okay.
So next week at 10, we'll do a practice teams just so that to test to make sure everyone can get on. So
is it TEAM?
Yes.
Okay.
It may be teams. Is it teams?
No, it's Teams, TEAMS, but look for it under Microsoft Teams.
Yes.
Okay.
Or MS Teams.
And we know that it works good if you have Google Chrome.
Yeah.
And what's that other one? Susan's going to send out instructions. So
I'll send out an email. And
Yeah,
it's fine. You don't have to download the app unless you're joining on your phone or something like that. That would make it easier, but you can just use your browser.
Yes.
Okay.
Except I think if you have Safari, it acts a little crazy, but we're practice. So we have a practice session at 10, from 10 to 10:30. We'll just have you log on. And then at our session will start at 2 with the attorney on the wheel.
Okay. Thank
So
you.
if anybody wants to get off, they can get off. I just want to go over with Miss Kay. Miss Kay, are you still on?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm going to review these carbohydrates with you now. So you remember the plate. On the plate, you have your high carb foods that go in this little section here. You get 3 per meal. That can be your grains, your breads, your cereal, your pasta. So if you have 2 slices of bread, and I hope nobody's eating white bread. I hope everybody has moved over to the whole wheat bread, brown bread. Then if you eat a sandwich with 2 slices of bread, that would be 2. So your high carb foods, these are ones that are going to cause your blood sugar to go up. That's your breads, your cereals, your pasta, and your rice. I see you. Are you writing?
I am writing, but I think the thing I'm lost is when I get up in the morning, I might say I want an egg and 2 slices of bacon. Well, somebody told me that's a pretty good meal, so I'll do the eggs and some bacon. But
Okay, so those eggs and the bacon. Okay, they're proteins.
Yeah.
They're not causing your blood sugar to go up.
Okay, well, that was a good day, but I don't know. The next day I may want bacon and grits. I'm just not sure on what's the proper meal to facilitate that insulin, because I have to take insulin 5 units at each meal. That's what I get confused on. Like if I eat 1 piece of sandwich and I come upstairs and take a nap, I'm going, is that 1 piece enough for the 5 units of insulin? I don't know how to make sense to that.
Okay, so like I said, this is general information. Your nutrition.
Talk to my nutritionist.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's what I'll do.
Okay, I would like to add, this is Janine. Hi, Dr.
Hi, Janine.
I would like to add that when you speak to your nutritionist, have her clarify for you how many carbohydrates per 5 units of insulin that you need. And that is going to better help you determine how many 5 units of insulin that you need, and also, well, increments, and also how many carbohydrates. So like a cup of rice, I want to say, if I recall, is going to be either 45 carbohydrates.
Yes.
Okay. So if your nutritionist tells you that you need 5 units per, and I believe you were saying 1 carb, which is 15 carbohydrates.
Grams. 15 carbohydrate grams equals.
Great. Yes. So that is what you need to determine or understand to help you know how many units of insulin that you need to take. So per 5 units of insulin, how many total carbs can I have with that? That is the specific question that you need to ask your nutritionist.
Perfect, Janine. That's what I needed. That's what I needed. Thank you. Perfect.
Do you need her to repeat that?
No, I wrote it down.
Okay.
I wrote it down.
Okay.
That makes perfect sense to me because that's what's blowing me sometimes. That's where I'm stuck at. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
And when you talk about eating eggs and bacon, you're not even eating carbohydrates in that meal.
I don't know no better, but I was happy my numbers was good, so that I was okay. I was okay. It's just the next day, what do I have a taste for? The next day, I want to kind of get better with my meal planning.
And so that insulin that you're taking is fast-acting insulin. So it is to be taken at the time that you eat. Yes. And again, the number of, or the total grams of carbohydrates is going to determine how much insulin, how many units of insulin. So she may be stating that 5 units for every, and this is high to me, but I don't know what type of insulin that you're on, 5 units for every 15 carbohydrate. That's what you need to know.
Okay. See, I'm still crawling with that, Miss Sonia, because as soon as they tell me the amount, then I'm gonna go, well, I don't want to eat that for breakfast that morning. See, that's what my cuckoo meets the road.
It's not one thing. It's not one thing. It's not like you got to eat the same food every morning. That's not what Janine is saying. Or I'm saying.
I'm saying my intersections that don't meet is because I will wake up and say, I want some cereal this morning and some bacon. Yes. Tomorrow, I might say,
look at the cereal box to determine, Ms. K. Then that's when you look at so what you're going to have to get into is looking at the nutrition facts of everything. That's
my crawl. That's my crawl.
Meats, then although they are do have carbohydrates, you will be able to eat more of the vegetables and more of the meats and not have to worry so much about the carbohydrates, but it's the starches that you're intaking that you have to worry with the carbohydrates and the amount of insulin that you need to try to balance that sugar, your sugar levels.
Because you don't want to go, high blood sugar is bad, but low blood sugar, you're taking your medicine and not eating carbs.
I'm having a lot of lows. I'm getting the 50s. I'm getting the 60s. I am having a lot of lows.
And that's because you're probably taking too much insulin and not eating enough carbohydrates.
That's exactly what it is.
And so what is going to also better help you when you speak with your nutritionist is for them to provide you with a guide for let's say you want some grits. Well, how many servings is, one serving is how many carbohydrates? If I want some rice, how many servings is the one carbohydrate? So that will better help you with calculating how many units of insulin to keep your blood sugar levels from diving and just being at a normal range.
Okay.
And you're just really going to have to get into the calculations and looking at the nutrition facts and determining. And once you continue to do so, you're not going to have to look at it because you'll remember, okay, well, if I have 1 cup of rice, that's 45 grams of carbohydrates. So I know that I need so many units of insulin for this. And I'm also going to have some cream corn, which a half a cup of cream corn is 30 grams of carbohydrates. I'm sure I'm off, Sonia, but I'm just stating hypothetically. So that's another so many units of carbohydrates, insulin. And you add those up based on the amount of carbohydrates you're going to have for that particular setting.
Okay.
So,
I know you look overwhelmed, and don't feel bad. The only way you're going to get answers is to ask the questions. And if you don't understand when you're with the nutritionist, ask her the questions, because that's the only way that you're going to get better. And it's not something that you learn it overnight. It takes practice, like Janine saying. It's going to take practice, and once you start doing it, you know, you don't have to go. It doesn't have to be like something that you struggle with. It'll just be second nature. But you're starting, and don't give up. You keep going on the path that you're on. Make sure that you ask questions.
And make sure you make a list of all the questions you have for the doctor, so that you don't have to strain yourself trying to remember, oh, what other question did I have? Write them down as you think about them, and then just give her that note.
Yes.
I'm gonna send them an email when we get off the Zoom. I'm getting ready to send them an email, and then they'll call me.
Okay, what you want to do is ask for the appointment for the nutritionist. Don't ask for a doctor's appointment.
Right.
Because it's.
I have a nutritionist. I have one, Dr. Russell. I have them, but I usually send my questions ahead of time, even before an appointment. Most of my appointments are on video, but she can look at my face, and when you say overwhelming, I can't grasp it. You're right, and that's what I got to get better at, grasping it.
And it's okay. You're not gonna learn. It's like algebra. You don't learn it.
Lord, I made all else in algebra. All else.
One day it's just going to slap you in the face, and you're going to say, "Oh my gosh, how did I wait so long?"
Light bulb moment. I'm looking forward to it.
That'll be it. Another things too that my doctor told me, or nutritionist, checking my numbers, you know, taking my blood count, and she had me, and I still do it to this day. It's like 4 days in a row. You take your check your blood insulin first thing in the morning when you get up. Then on say like Monday, 2 hours after your breakfast, you check it again. Then on Tuesday, you check it when you get up. Then 2 hours after you eat lunch, and then the third day, 2 hours, you know, after breakfast or after you get up, and then 2 hours after dinner. And then now this way you're regulating all day long, not just at those moments that you take it. You're checking to see where your low parts are, you know.
Where your average?
Yeah. But
Ms. K, are you exercising at all? Are you?
I'm gonna have to get off the phone.
Miss K, Miss K.
Brought up a subject she didn't want to talk about.
I know.
Yeah.
You know, while you're sitting watching TV, it's nothing to stand up and walk in place when the commercial's coming on. You're doing good, but keep adding. You got to move, Miss K. You got to move.
I was waiting for the center to open up. Do we have a date on the center opening up?
No,
you don't have to. You don't need a center.
I volunteered there, and they said that they don't even have a date in view. They're doing like drive-through things right now, just, you know, like craft shows, and they had ice cream yesterday and things like that, but they can't open the center because it's really too much.
And which center do you participate in?
Who, me?
Yes.
I volunteer there.
Which center?
Doss Park.
At Doss Park.
Okay. So we're with precinct 1, and that's precinct 4.
That's precinct 3.
We're precinct 4.
Oh, okay.
Janine, do you have an idea of when you all will open?
Not at all.
No.
Pretty
much. So, Miss K, you have a nice room there. You know what? While you're sitting in that chair, you can do leg lifts.
I can't hear y'all. Is
Is
it muting? I'm having trouble. Is it muting?
Unfortunately not. It's not muting you.
On YouTube, there is a lady. It's called Walk Away the Pounds. You turn that lady on, and before you know it, you have walked a mile. You can walk 2 miles. You can walk 3 miles. It's called Walk Away the Pounds, and that is good.
I gave her someone that was, because she's used to Leroy, so I gave her someone on Facebook who does the exercises for seniors, and it's from 9 o'clock Monday through Saturday every morning, 9 o'clock a.m. Okay, and it's the Guru of Abs, and he's just like Leroy. You can either sit and do them, or you can stand and do them.
What's the name of it? The Guru of Abs. The
Guru of Abs, and it's 9 o'clock every morning, 9 a.m. He does it for the seniors, and it's on Facebook. And it's Monday through Saturday. And I've told her about it, but you see how she say, it's time for me to get off the phone with you.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk no more. You know, and it's free.
We're gonna lift Miss K up in prayer. We're gonna all call her name out when we pray tonight.
Because she definitely needs it. I'm doing what I need to do, but that's me. I do the bare minimum, and I'm doing the sugars right now. I don't know about incorporating exercise. That may be after another police scare, after another hospital visit. Pray for me.
You don't want to go there. You don't want that. You don't want that.
I know I don't. I'm just telling
Kay,
you.
are you type 1 or type 2?
2, and just hard-headed.
Okay. So I'll tell
Well,
you,
in September, we're partnering with Methodist Hospital, and we're going to do twice a week, 2 weeks, two sessions a week, Tuesday and Thursdays from like 11 to 12. And it will be just like going out to do the diabetes classes. So it will be a little slower than today, but on Tuesdays and Thursdays from, I think it's 11 to like 11:30, 11:45. We're going to try it out in September. So Susan has your emails and she will send that out. But that's what
And
we're
if you
planning.
if I don't send you an email directly and you want it directly, then put your email in the chat if you can, and I will add it to our list.
So
Okay.
I'm going to get off, but I want to remind you all that next week at 10, we would do a Teams meeting. We just do a little practice session. And at 2 o'clock, we will have the attorney on. And when we start up in August, we will no longer use Zoom. We will go to Teams.
Okay.
And I hope everyone has a great day. Stay safe. Remember your plate. You know, just whenever you go to fish a plate, remember how your plate should look. And Susan, she can also send this email out. But I thank you all.
Thank you. This is a
Thank you.
good
Thank
session.
you. Thank you. Thank you for everything. Great class.
I remember Miss K. Miss K, you're at Cavalcade. Are you at Cavalcade?
Yes, ma'am.
I remember you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank
Take
you.
care.
Great
bye
class.
everybody. Stay safe.
For everything.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Goodbye.